The reason most people become overwhelmed is because they allow themselves to.
Don't try to overhaul your whole life overnight. But for our third question we have, for someone who's just starting and feels overwhelmed by how far they have to go, where should they begin? So what I would really recommend is just start with one thing, one change. Like, don't try to overhaul your whole life overnight. Like, for me, even when I started, I remember distinctly, I'm like, okay, you know what? I never was a big juice drinker or anything like that, but I'm having no liquid calories. That's going to be my first start. And then from there, I'm like, okay, I'm going to start walking some more. And then it's like, all right, I'm going to start to learn to work out. And like, naturally, it becomes a lot more achievable and something nice. And even one tiny decision, if you say tomorrow, I'm going to wake up and immediately go for a walk, and that's just going to be my non-negotiable, and you do that for a week, you'll be amazed at how good you feel by just making one small change. And oftentimes taking that one positive first step encourages you to take more. And that's where, like, even we'll have adages with our clients where we'll say, hey, if you don't want to go to the gym, like, go anyways. And if you want to leave after 10 minutes, you can leave. 99% of the time, you're going to stay there. You're going to feel good. You're going to see people working hard, listen to some music, and you'll be ready to go. And I think very much with journeys, like, instead of trying to do these crazy, massive leaps of progress where you're like, I'm going to never eat a fun food again. I'm going to have no sugar. I'm going to walk 20,000 steps a day and I'm going to live for 3 hours. Like, it sounds cool and there's like a hoorah to it. But at the same time, like, it's not going to be your best friend. But on the flip side, I also think there does need to be some degree of a buy-in, especially if you want to have big change. So with my clients with their cuts, like, some coaches will begin people's dieting phase with like a drop of 100 to 50 calories, and like, your body will net that out by just moving less. Like, your body's smart. You'll dance a little bit less in the car, so your neat non-exercise activity thermogenesis will just be adjusted. Then usually when people do this, they're like, what the heck, I'm eating 100, 200 calories less, but I'm seeing no change. And that's where, like, a more meaningful drop to start your cut, where you actually have to make decisions and be like, oh shoot, like, okay, I can't have this cake and this other dessert anymore. Like, it needs to be one or the other. And like, oftentimes that first step isn't big, but it makes it more real, and it makes you have to be a little more intentional. And then you see the scale drop. And then obviously when you see results, you get addicted. So there's an awesome opportunity there. And that's where I think these little jump starts, or things that really add momentum and excitement, can be so powerful alongside the small start. And even like challenges are such a good example of this. So we have our 30-day lock-in challenge, and this isn't designed to be this crazy thing, like I mentioned earlier, where you're giving up everything you love and you're living an unrealistic life. But this 30-day lock-in challenge is like an opportunity for you to say, hey, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to do a challenge. I'm going to try to win this grand prize, and I'm going to make a meaningful effort over 1 month, which is a baby step. Like, a month is not a long time. Like, we can all do 30 days. It's really not a big deal. And you can see so much change with that buy-in by saying, hey, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm investing. I'm doing this challenge. I'm getting a coach. And then what's awesome too about the way we run challenges, you're getting coaching before the challenge, because it's starting September 1st. So if you sign up today, you're going to get like a week or two, I believe it is, of coaching, which is going to be great to kind of build some habits, get you rolling, really sink into that challenge. I'm going to teach you how to transition out, and we can reevaluate where things are in your life, where there's balance, where we can push more, where we can grow. So those would be my top tips.
Yeah, the challenge is honestly the greatest place to start, especially with the way that we have it set up. So if you're someone who even feels like there's so much information out there, like, even if you're not someone who is like brand new, this can apply to anybody who feels overwhelmed. Because once again, when you go online, when you talk to your friend at work, when you talk to a family member, there is a very high chance you're going to feel overwhelmed with, should you do keto? Should you do intermittent fasting? Should you run? Should you bike? Should you lift? Should you, whatever. That is the biggest and actual most important thing, is having something. Like, my answer is going to be a bit different than Josh here, but having an approach where you're just focused on the most important stuff. Because I truly feel like the reason most people become overwhelmed is because they allow themselves to, and because they are so easily influenced by every other person out there. Like, you'll hear me talk about flexible dieting and you're like, okay, cool. That's what I'm going to start with this week. I'm going to listen to Josh and I'm going to go for a couple walks, and that's what I'm going to do. But then, like, you talk to the person at the barbecue this weekend and they're talking to you about how they lost 30 pounds doing keto. And then so you're like, you know what? that's actually a pretty good idea. So I'm going to take what Josh said, but I'm also going to add that. And then when you do go to the gym to sign up for the first time, there's going to be a trainer talking to you about doing this. And then you're like, I'm going to go to GNC, so I'm going to buy supplements, and you're adding in supplements, and you're adding in this, and you're adding in that. And you've just created this system that is so much harder for you to achieve, and you end up struggling. So that's why my biggest thing is paying attention to a few small things, making a few small steps forward, allowing the momentum to build, and join us for this challenge. Make sure to message us saying challenge. We'll take care of you. We'll get rid of all the fluff. We'll make sure that you're following the most important stuff, and you'll get some incredible results. So thank you so much for spending time with us today. I just want to say I appreciate you all. If you've made it to the end, you're deeply valued. You're a real one, and we really appreciate you. Message us challenge on Instagram at Colossus Fit, COLOSSUSFIT, and we'll see you Thursday for the next episode. Peace out.